Yeah, so I had a few reasons as to why I chose a master's international, and international master's was probably the first one would be I wanted to study with more diversity and people from all around the globe. The second one would be I wanted more diversity in terms of people or the cohort that was studying with me back in India. I think if you go for, if you're coming from an engineering background, if you've done your bachelor's in engineering, the two options that you have is either go for an MTech or an MBA if you want to pursue a master's. And even in the MBA program, the 60 to 70% of the class is usually from engineering background. So yeah, I think those are the two reasons why I chose international masters. Once you so if you want to get into data science, you have a very different sets of people that you work with, because right now the challenges in data science is getting data from all the departments and kind of combining that data and then running some kind of analysis. So you might face someone from the marketing background, someone from an operations background, someone in the HR. The cohort over here is quite diverse in that sense. You have people who have done their bachelor's in social science, people who have done their bachelor's in psychology. They have taken that challenge to switch from that and study statistics or mathematics over here. So yeah, and you have people from 51 countries in my program. So yeah, that really helps. We have a lot of events over here during Thanksgiving, and the university UTD organizes a lot of events over here. I feel that UTD is quite conducive for international students, and we have a lot of events that you can visit. But sometimes you're just too busy to attend those events. But you have the Indian Students Association, you have different associations over here, and different types of events that you can attend. Otherwise, if you go out, if you go to a pub or a restaurant or a bar, you can strike up conversations if you are comfortable in that. And I would highly recommend you to do that, because that is how you learn the culture of the country wherever you're going to. So yeah. After attending those events, it's helped me a lot. Helped me a lot to understand basic things like it. When you're interacting with someone, you don't reply okay over here, because people think that's like a conversation ender. And if you just say okay to something, that's like it's done. So either you say not too bad, or you say it's going great, it's going awesome, the day outside is really good, it's a sunny weather and all that. So you keep the conversation going, and that is something I learned by attending these events and talking to Americans, and just normally striking up. So I think the few things that I really like about the program, or if I had to give one reason as to why you should be choosing this masters, is the flexibility of the program. So you can complete your masters in 1 year, or you can complete it in 2 years. So it's all dependent on you, how you want to strategize a program or structure your masters. The other one would be the flexibility of choosing the subject. So if you have, for example, 12 subjects, 6 will be core that everyone has to study, but then 6 are the ones that you can choose, and you can choose into the industry that you are going into. So for example, if you want to get into data engineering, you can choose more data warehousing and all those kind of sorts of subjects. But if you want to get into data science, you can choose more heavy on statistics and machine learning. So those are the things that I really like about the masters over here. Two negative things would be people concentrate too much on the GPA and not on the learning. Sometimes I feel that a lot of people do not give that much focus to learning, but they will give more focus to GPA. So they'll choose easier subjects and easier professors that way. Second one would be a lot of people concentrate too much on getting on-campus jobs. So when I was coming here, my first goal was to learn, and that was my only goal initially. But I could see a lot of people around me applying for on-campus and spending too much time on that. How you talk to people, how do you drop emails, how do you not come across as someone who is ordering something to do, but then you just keep it kind of vague, even in the email. So that is something that I learned in my internship. Yeah, so sometimes we back from in India we have this. We usually say, or we just tell someone that do this for me, but over here sometimes it becomes quite arrogant, and it feels that you are ordering someone to do something, and really they might not help you because they felt that way. But then you have to sandwich. There's something called sandwich method on how you write an email. So you start with how you doing, and I hope your day is going well, and then you sandwich whatever you want in between. But then you use words like, "Could you do this for me? Would you do this for me? Or can you tell me about this?" But then you ask a question to the other person rather than ordering someone to do something. Just do, like, give me health insurance or extend my health insurance. Or you could, the other way could be, would you be able to extend my health insurance for 2 months? So one of these subjects, I would say, it is an elective subject. So it is applied machine learning. So you have basically two professors. One is quite tough. The other one is little easier than the first one. That subject is really tough because to get a or a minus in that subject is pretty tough. Only about 25% of the people in total get it, and that might screw up your GPA and your chances for scholarship. But what I feel is that was one of the subjects that I learned the most because of the tough assignments and a very steep learning curve. So yeah, and it really helped me in my interviews. For my internship interviews, that subject really helped me sail through it because I had done my assignments on my own. I had given 300%, and my interview sometimes would only go on one of the assignments that I had done in that particular subject. And since I had worked so hard, so it was quite easy for me to crack those interviews for internships. So yeah. Here it's more open. You can say what you want in the class. You can ask them questions in front of everyone. They're quite friendly in that sense that if a lot of people, or 20 out of 60 people have a problem, the professor will go out of the way to help them. You can interact with professors over the email. You can just swing by their office whenever you want. So yeah, that is something I really like, and you can even ask your professors for interview. That you have an upcoming interview, like what should you be talking about? And half of the professors have industry experience, so they have worked in the data analytics and in consulting until 2018, and now they are professors over here. So they also work full time, and they are part time, or sometimes they are just teaching one subject at UT Dallas. So yeah, I think that ways you get real world industry experience. One of my professors teaches at ISB for the summer semester. So Dr. BPS Murthy, he goes to ISB every year for the summer, and he teaches at ISB. So yeah, and a lot of professors have done their bachelor's from IIT, then IIM, then they come here for their MS, then they go for their PhD. And a lot of professors are actually, I think I know 5 professors who have gone through this same journey of starting from IIT, then doing their MBA from IIM, then coming here for the MS, and then pursuing a PhD from CMU, and then teaching students over here. So that way, it's quite friendly and quite relatable. And how many times does your program allow internship? So I know a lot of programs where you can intern only once, and at UT Dallas you can intern thrice or even more than that, depends. So if you're interning multiple times, then you're able to pay back a lot of money, or save a lot of money from your masters. In a lot of MBA programs, you have just one chance, or you just have one summer. I know people in my program who have finished their degree in $20,000, and I also know people who have finished the same degree in $80,000. So it depends on case to case. If you got a scholarship or not, where are you living, how many people are living with you, what kind of locality are you living, is it furnished, is it unfurnished? So a lot of things are into play. It's not that easy to see in how many years will you be able to get the money that you have paid for your masters, or try to calculate the ROI. Things from the garage sale, I know that when we come here, there's an event called Big Howdy, and then you can just go there and you can get free stuff like a sofa or a mixer grinder or a microwave. You can get it for $10 or probably even free. So yeah, you have to register for it quite early, even when you 2 months before you start your master's journey back from India. You can register for it back from India, and then in terms of data science, or even in terms of software engineering and technology, US is the country where a lot of things start, and a lot of other countries play a catch-up game. Even Europe plays a catch-up game in terms of that. So data science is quite new, and people are not used to data science so much in India as compared to people in US. But right now, data science is not a separate department in a lot of companies, except for Facebook, Amazon. But it's more under. So a lot of times it's under the operations department or marketing department, or under IT. So yeah, I feel that I see a lot of jobs in terms of. I see a lot of opportunities when I'm applying online, and everyone over here, all the industries are trying to use data science and embracing data science. There are a lot of challenges in terms of the data that you're getting, and that is where data engineering comes into play. And I feel a lot of companies have made proof of concepts for data science, but in the proof of concepts, eventually the result is that we are not getting the data that we need, and that is where data engineering comes into play. So as I said before, you can structure your masters in the way you want, and if you want to get into data engineering, it has to be more AWS. It is more SQL, ETL, and all those things. In terms of data science, it is more statistics, it is more probability, it is more R, Python coding, and the main part is storytelling, and how do you present in front of various stakeholders, various business stakeholders, various departments. So I feel that in data science, there's a flair for business. So 50% of it is business, how you present your technical studies or your technical findings. So yeah, and eventually if you have to deploy the model, or if you have to deploy the model in production real time, it has to be more software engineering. I feel that there is a lot of scope for data science, and I see a lot of people who don't have any work experience back in India, a lot of freshers. It is a little tough to get the data scientist role. You have different roles like data analyst, you have business intelligence engineer, you have a senior data analyst, then you have data scientist, you have data science analyst, you have product managers. You can even get into that if you want. In terms of data analyst and senior data analyst and business intelligence engineer, SQL and basic database knowledge is something that you have to be really good at. If you want to get into data science, or if you want that data scientist role, it is quite tough, because you have to know stats, you have to know probability, you have to know coding, you have to know machine learning, you have to know about database, and you also have to be really good with business and presentations and talking to people. So you have to have like really good people skills. Uh, because the term data scientist, in my opinion, is quite vague. Sometimes it is just a buzzword for a lot of senior data analysts. They just call senior data analysts as data scientists, but most of the things that a senior or a data scientist is doing is dealing with the databases and doing performing SQL queries. Um, with data engineering, it is again pipelining the data. So a lot of times you get data from different sources like Instagram, Facebook, Google Analytics. If for example, if it is a marketing company, and that is where a data engineer would work on connecting all those pipelines and getting data at one place. Major chunk of it right now is cloud computing, in having the knowledge of the cloud, because of COVID. This has been like the start of digitalization for a lot of companies, and they are shifting the data into cloud, and you can perform your machine learning and data science everything on the cloud. But for that, you have to have the data pipelines, and that is where data engineering works. For if you want to get into product management, you can probably start off as a senior analyst or start off as a data scientist, and then get to know about the analytics in general, and then you can move towards product manager role. I've seen a lot of my friends doing that, who arrived here about 3-4 years back, after getting a 2-year work experience back in India. The kind of package that you get depends on the level that you're getting hired for. So I would not say that your experience back in India is not counted. It is because companies like Amazon will actually see how much years of work experience do you have before your masters, and then they give the pay packages according to that, and the level that you're getting hired for is according to that. So in terms of pay packages for a data analyst, it depends on where you are. Honestly, San Francisco pays 1.5 times as compared to Texas. California pays in general. San Francisco pays about 1.5 times as compared to Dallas, but then again, Texas does not have state tax, and the cost of living is almost 2/3 as compared to California. So getting something like 100K in Dallas is equal to 130K in San Francisco, or I would say 140K in San Francisco. For a data analyst, I think in Dallas, senior data analyst can earn anything between 80 to 110K. For data scientist, you can probably start with 95 to 130K in Dallas. But if you're talking about San Francisco or Seattle, you could get anywhere a base salary of 130, 120, and then get stocks and bonus. The total compensation could be 170K. All to be honest, data science has exploded over here, and everyone, all the companies, starting from marketing, operations, oil and gas, advertising. I have interned with two very different diverse fields as a data scientist intern. The first one was Total, which is a French company, French oil and gas. It's the seventh largest energy company in the world. The second one was a marketing advertising company. It is now world's #1 marketing network, ClickBooth. It has consolidated into Perform CV. That is what it's called right now. So I feel that it depends on the kind of work experience that you have back in India, whatever kind of field that you have worked in, and then you can leverage that to get a data science job in any industry in general. So yeah, I'll segment according to the different sectors that the companies are in. A few companies that hire people from data science. In tech, there is Facebook, Amazon. Amazon hires a lot. Then AWS, which comes out of Amazon, but it hires for cloud mostly. In healthcare, I would say Cigna, United, and Humana hires, but then they're a little reluctant on hiring international people. In banking sector, I would say JP Morgan, Citibank. Again, they are a little reluctant on hiring international because of the regulations sometimes. And otherwise, all sorts of companies are actually hiring people from data science, especially people. A lot of companies based out of California are venturing into data science, and so yeah, Tesla also hires in manufacturing. Tesla hires a lot of people from data science. They hire a lot of interns, but few people get to full time. So yeah. A lot of companies do not, but global companies like big companies like Amazon, Citibank, or Google, Facebook, all these companies do hire a lot of people, and they do sponsor their H1B. Yeah, you can look up websites like H1B info. You can see which are the companies that sponsor a lot of their employees for H1B. For OPT. So it depends. If you're doing an MBA, you probably have 1 year. If it is not STEM, then you have 1 year to get your H1B. For anyone going for the MS in a STEM degree, something like analytics or data science or computer science, you have 3 years, probably more than 3 chances to actually apply for H1B. And if you have done your masters in the US, you have a little more chance than getting an H1B as compared to someone who's directly coming from India on H1B. So know people who are going back or moving to Canada after their H1B has died down. So I know one of my friend's sisters moving to Canada, even though her husband has gotten H1B, but they both are moving to Canada because of this thing. But I feel that the experience that you get in the US in general, overall, your master's experience and the kind of exposure that you get even on OPT is much more that you would get back in India. I somehow I feel so.
Mail us your resume now if you're looking for such career transformations. If you appreciate our video, then like and share it, and subscribe to our channel to know more about life at top MBA programs.